Hey everybody, Hector Castillo here, aka Poppy from girlschase.com for another Girls Chase video. Today I want to talk about experienced women and what happens when you date them. Now, by experienced, I mean one of two things. Firstly, she can be a little bit older, which means in my mind 27, 28, maybe into the early 30s. And she's had a lot of experience with boyfriends, maybe a few hookups, depending on how you want to interpret it. But in my mind, she's had, a 3-year relationship here, a 5-year relationship here, and then maybe a 2 or 3 year relationship here, and maybe a hookup or two sprinkled within. But she has a lot of experience spending time with men and dealing with all of the arguments and drama and happiness and adventures that happens in any relationship. Or the other interpretation of experience can be that she's fucked a lot of guys and dated a lot of guys, meaning she's been with, 10 guys by the time she's 21. She's been with 15, 20, maybe a little bit above that, but it's kind of rare to find girls at that level. There's a lot of criticism from some within the more red pill or manosphere communities where they seem to think that every girl is a massive slut and she's been with 15, 20 guys. I think that number is probably higher than most mainstream guys think, but I think it's a lot lower than most of these a little bit paranoid guys think. It's kind of rare to find a girl who has a lay count of over 20. Most girls are relatively modest and they've been between 5 and 10, and then it's a little bit more rare to find girls who have been with more than that, but they are probably more rare than you think if you're not yet exposed to the true nature of female sexuality. So either she's a little bit older and has some experience, or she's older still or younger but has had a lot of sexual experience with a lot of guys within a short period of time. Now, what happens when you date those women? Well, I'm here to tell you about 13 things that I've seen what happens when you date a woman from my personal perspective and from the perspective of men who I've coached. We'll start with the first one. You're gonna lose a lot of arguments. When you're dating an experienced woman, she's gonna know how to win an argument because she's been in so many of them. Either she's been in a lot of relationships where she's learned how to win arguments, or she's just been with so many guys that she's racked up a lot of experience really, really, really quickly. And she learns what works when convincing another person and what doesn't work. And so when you date a woman who has a lot of experience, you're gonna have to bring your A game when it comes to arguing with her because she's gonna have a full arsenal of weapons. Now, for the second thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna learn how women manipulate with charm. Now, when a girl is younger and she's more inexperienced and a little bit more naive, women don't charm you as much as they get you to do things based on more of a naive bubbliness. I'm trying to think of a word, but when you have an experienced woman, she's, she knows how to move her face, how to move her body to get you to do things. Hi, sweetie, do you think you can? Whereas a younger girl who's a little more naive is just gonna be a little bit more sweet and a little bit more submissive and kind of get sad when you don't do what she wants, for instance. So if you do something that's mean, she's gonna kind of get sad and you're gonna be like, what's wrong? And be like, I don't know, blah blah blah, that didn't really make me feel good. Whereas a more experienced woman, before anything actually hits the point where she's getting upset, she's gonna know exactly how to get what she wants. She's gonna know what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. The third thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna have fucking incredible sex, absolutely mind-blowing sex, because if you're used to dealing with girls who are inexperienced, they're not gonna know how to fuck because they haven't practiced. They haven't spent time like guys have watching a lot of porn and learning the different ins and outs of how to stick things in certain places in what ways. They're gonna be new to it, and so they're not gonna be great at it, which is not a bad thing, but they're gonna have to learn. Whereas an experienced woman, she's either sucked a lot of dicks or she's sucked a few dicks a lot of times over a long period of time. And she knows what turns a man on and what doesn't. She knows what kind of sounds to make. She knows where to put her hands, what to say while she's getting fucked. She's gonna have a lot of experience because that's what makes a girl experience. Number 4, you're gonna be jealous like you've never been jealous before. If you're used to dating a little bit more inexperienced girls, they're kind of stupid with their charm. And with the earlier point where an experienced girl, she knows how to manipulate through charm, The other side effect is that this girl, your girl, whether you're dating her or she's your girlfriend, if it's casual, serious, she's gonna be able to charm men without much effort at all. It could be as simple as the way she walks. You're walking through the club with her, which I wouldn't advise partying with your girl because that tends to create situations like this, but you're holding your girl's hand, you're walking through the bar, and maybe you had a few shots, so you're having fun, but then you kind of notice how all the guys are looking at your girl, and then you're like, okay, why? And then you look at her and you kind of realize her demeanor. She's very sexy, right? It's good for you, right? It made you so in love with her. But the negative side of that attachment is that she's really good at getting other guys to want her. And if you haven't dealt with your insecurities and increased your self-confidence to a point where you're not drawn out of your happiness by this fear of losing her, then you're gonna be facing jealousy like you've never faced before. And I personally went through that at a very extreme level by dating an experienced girl. Number 5, again, related to sex, you're gonna learn just how freaky women are. When a girl's younger, she has more inhibitions, either from society or from her own guilt or her family. She's not gonna indulge. But a more experienced woman, she's had that time to get over that shame and over that guilt. And she's eroded those inhibitions and has been able to enjoy a lot of pleasures that maybe you weren't aware that women do enjoy. Maybe she's had a threesome. Maybe she's had a threesome with 2 guys. Maybe she's had sex with a lot of girls. Maybe she's been with a certain type of guy. Maybe she's been with more than 2 guys. Maybe she's really into getting fucked in the ass. Maybe she really likes to get demonically throat fucked. Maybe she likes to get hit during sex. Whatever it is, she's going to enjoy things that maybe might surprise you. Number 6, you're gonna fall deeply, deeply in love. All of these things that I'm talking about, mostly either with their negative side or their positive side, have to do with her ability to get you to go crazy for her. And experienced women, unlike younger, more naive women, are really, really good at enrapturing you and getting you to fall in love with them. They are the equivalent of me, but with a pussy. They know how to make men go crazy for them. And so when you date an experienced woman, you're gonna start to lose control of your feelings and fall more deeply in love than maybe you thought you were able to. Number 7, you are gonna learn the art of female deception. You're gonna learn how women lie. Now, women don't always lie by just simply telling you something that isn't true. Most of the time, women lie by just not explaining the full story. It's called lying by omission. And you're gonna learn this art very, very thoroughly when you date an experienced woman, because over time, she's gonna tell you one thing, and then you're gonna hear maybe a little bit more of the story a year later, and then you're gonna go, wait a second. I distinctly remember a conversation where she said this, and it's not that it was false, it just wasn't the full story. And then you're gonna learn how women also deceive through wordplay, right? So it's not even that they're omitting things, it's that they're just changing the way they explained it. So it's not the fact that they're lacking the full story, but the story just has a little bit different details that maybe weren't as detailed, or they weren't as fleshed out as before, but now you're starting to see the full picture. Now, I know this seems negative, and a lot of these points that I'm explaining might seem like dating experienced women is bad. That might be what I'm implying, but it's not quite what I'm implying. So stick with me, and at the end, I'll reveal how I think about dating experienced women. But you are gonna learn the art of female deception, whether you like it or not. Number 8, you're gonna learn how to keep a woman satisfied. When a woman is experienced, that means she's had a lot of experiences, which also means that she's very easily bored. Because women who, at least on the side of having a lot of partners, when you define experience, if she's very, very high drive and she needs a lot of sex, that usually always coincides with high adventurousness. And so these women are constantly seeking pleasure and thrills. Now, that could mean she likes skydiving, or it could mean she just likes traveling a lot, but she's gonna get bored very, very easily. And if you want to keep her happy in the relationship, then you're going to have to learn how to keep her occupied and keep her entertained. So this is both a negative thing if maybe you're not so good at doing that, but also a positive thing because you're going to need to know how to do that with any girl, but you're really going to learn how to do it with an experienced girl, because if you don't, she's going to get bored and eventually cheat or leave. Number 9, you're going to learn how women slowly take control of the relationship. Years ago, maybe you were the strong, dominant leader in the relationship. But over the course of years, because you didn't want to be a tyrant, right? You're a nice person. You said, okay, I'll let her get this time. I'll let her win this argument. Or let's go do what she wants to do this time. Let's go to this movie instead of the movie I wanted to see. Let's let her redecorate the room even though I wanted to do it. But slowly, when you let yourself lose a lot of small battles, you're going to look back and realize that you've lost a huge battle and you're no longer the leader of the relationship, but the follower. Number 10, you learn how little tolerance women have for weakness, whether that's in the form of insecurities, whining, laziness, the inability to get what you want, either from her or from other people. If she continues to see you act weak, she's going to lose respect for you. And you're going to see that more obviously with an experienced woman than you would with an inexperienced woman, because she's seen through her experience how strong men can be and how weak they can be. And because she has a finer tuned taste, and all women like strong men, and so because she has a finely tuned taste for strong men, then she's really, really gonna have a finely tuned disgust for weakness. And she's gonna let you know very obviously that she does not dig it. Number 11, you are gonna have to learn how to accept women's past, especially if she's experienced. You're gonna learn just how much she's done and how much of the female psyche when it comes to sex and relationships that you didn't understand. And you're gonna have to take a look at it and you're gonna have to accept it. And number 12, when you do look at her past or anything that might unsettle you, who she's had sex with, how many men she's had sex with, what kind of sex she's been having, who she loved, who she didn't love, you're gonna compare yourself to those men. And you're going to come face to face with your insecurities through her past and through her behavior and through her character. And then the final lesson that is going to happen, the final thing that's going to be revealed by dating an experienced woman, is when you do come face to face with those experiences because of her experiences and because of who she is, you're either going to break or you're going to become stronger. Because dating a more experienced woman can be a beautiful thing. It can expose you very, very quickly to some dark, but also beautiful truths about women. And if you're not ready for them, they're going to test your character and your strength as a man. Now, whether you want to continue dating experienced women after that experience, for instance, I learned that I don't want to continue to date super experienced women after dating an experienced woman. But the gift that was given to me by dating that woman was that I came to face with my insecurities and my weaknesses. And I learned to accept that fear and that insecurity and then to overcome it. And that's the beauty of dating experienced women. Now, again, those lists might come off negative, and that wasn't my intention. My intention instead was to be truthful, even if that truth can be a little bit harsh. But if you are going to date an experienced woman, you are going to be exposed to the truth of female sexuality and female psychology in a way that you probably weren't ready for. And if you are dating an experienced woman and these things kind of seem a surprise to you, they're not paying attention because, again, what do I mean by experience? Whether she's a slut or she's just an older woman who's had a lot of experience, experience just means she's had either a lot of dicks or a lot of sex with a few dicks, but that still means sex. And that's where all of our insecurities usually come from as men. So when you date an experienced woman, you're gonna come face to face with the fact that maybe you're not the best guy she's ever fucked. And if you're not, then you either need to become the best guy or you just have to accept that maybe you're not the best and be okay with that. The choice is yours. This is Hector Castillo, AKA Poppy from girlschase.com. And I hope you enjoyed that video, even though it's a bit of a bitch slap of information. But please take it with a sober head and face it with some gusto and some strength. Okay. Please follow me on social media, on my Instagram and my Twitch channel, and then also subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring the bell, And please leave a comment if you've ever dated an experienced woman and what the fuck that was like, because for me, it was a totally earth-shattering experience. It was my second serious relationship. I think I had been with 10 girls before her. And yeah, I could write a book about it. And it was life-changing, and I'm glad I went through it, but never again. Okay, I'll see you guys later.